big rocks in our life. One day, an expert in time management was speaking to a group of business students. To drive home a point, he used an illustration which those students will never forget. As he stood in front of the group of high-powered overachievers, he said, "Okay, time for a quiz." He pulled out 1-gallon wide-mouthed mason jar and set it on the table in front of him. He also produced about a dozen fist-sized stones and carefully placed them one at a time into the jar. When the jar was filled to the top and no more stones would fit inside, he asked, "Is this jar full?" Everyone in the class shouted, "Yes." The time management expert replied, "Really?" He reached under the table and pulled out a bucket of gravel and dumped some of the gravel in. Then he shook the jar, which caused the pieces of gravel to work themselves down into the space between the big rocks. He then asked the class once more if the jar was full. This time, the class did not want to be too sure, so they just said, "Probably not." "Good," he replied. He reached under the table and brought out a bucket of sand and started dumping it into the jar. The sand went in and filled in the spaces left between the rocks and the gravel. Once more he asked if the jar was full. "No," the class shouted. Once again he said, "Good," and grabbed a pitcher of water and began to pour it into the jar until the jar was filled to the brim. He then looked around the room and asked, "What is the point of this illustration?" One eager man raised his hand and said, "The point is, it does not matter how full your schedule is. If you really try hard, you can always have some more activity in." "No," the speaker said, "that's not the point. The truth is that if you don't put the big rocks in first, you will never get them in at all. And what are the big rocks of your life? The time spent with your loved ones, your faith, your dreams, or a worthy cause like teaching or mentoring others. Remember to put in the big rocks first, or you'll never get them in at all."